When you close your eyes and picture the perfect partner, what do you see? Maybe you imagine a specific hair color, a certain height, or a particular body type. It feels personal, does it not? It feels like that preference is as unique to you as your fingerprint. But I want to ask you a challenging question today. Is that really your opinion? Or is it possible that your desires have been quietly sculpted day by day by the screens you watch and the images you scroll past? We live in an age where we are bombarded with visual information. Social media, television, movies, and advertisements act like a relentless tide, shaping the shoreline of our minds. They have a powerful and often invisible impact on our perception of beauty, frequently pushing standards that are not just unrealistic, but actively harmful to our spirit. Today, we will delve deep into the ways the media distorts our perception of attractiveness and give you some practical, soul-nourishing advice on how to fight back and reclaim your own eyes. The filtered reality. Let us start with something we encounter every time we open our phones. The filtered reality. We all want to look our best. It is human nature to want to present a polished version of ourselves to the world. However, with the meteoric rise of beauty filters on social media platforms, it is becoming harder and harder to separate reality from fantasy. We are no longer just dealing with airbrushed magazine covers of celebrities. We are dealing with airbrushed videos of our friends, our neighbors, and even ourselves. These digital overlays promise to give us perfect skin, perfectly symmetrical features, larger eyes, and a flawless complexion. It happens in an instant. You tap a screen, and suddenly, the human texture of your face, the pores, the fine lines, the unique asymmetry that makes you you is erased. While it may seem harmless, a bit of fun to pass the time, these filters are creating a new beauty norm that is dangerously sterile. They are training our brains to view anything that is different from this digital perfection as unattractive or flawed. Recently, this problem has become so pervasive that it is being recognized by medical professionals as a new phenomenon called Snapchat dysmorphia. This is not just a buzzword. It is a serious psychological shift. Researchers from the Boston University School of Medicine believe that this phenomenon is inextricably linked to body dysmorphic disorder, a severe condition where individuals obsess over perceived flaws in their appearance. When we spend hours looking at a version of ourselves that has been digitally altered to meet an algorithmic standard of beauty, the face we see in the bathroom mirror begins to look wrong. We start to feel like strangers in our own skin. At the same time, this technology is pulling us further away from seeing the natural beauty in others. If we expect real human beings to look like filtered avatars, we set ourselves up for a lifetime of disappointment and disconnection. Absurd standards of masculinity. Now, I want to take a moment to speak to the men in our community, or anyone who loves them. Often, when we talk about body image issues, the conversation centers solely on women. But the media machine is just as ruthless with men, creating absurd standards that are equally damaging. Do you remember that famous Old Spice commercial? The one with the super fit, ripped guy riding a horse on the beach, looking effortlessly powerful. That image is just one example of how ads and commercials sell us on not just products, but also on rigid beauty standards. They show us these toned, muscular bodies with zero body fat as the perfect ideal of masculinity. They equate this specific physique with success, romance, and happiness. But let us be real for a moment. Most of us, men included, probably have a bit of a belly. We might have love handles. We might be softer in some places and thinner in others. And even if you exercise regularly and maintain a healthy lifestyle, it does not mean you will end up with a visible six-pack. Genetics play a massive role in how our bodies look. However, by being bombarded with such homogeneous bodies in every action movie and cologne advertisement, it is easy to feel a deep sense of guilt if you skip that day in the gym. You start to feel like you are failing at being a man. This impact was scientifically shown in a study published in the year 2009 in the journal Psychology of Men and Masculinity. The research revealed that commercials like these made the guys who saw them feel significantly self-conscious about their muscles and their overall physical appearance. It creates a quiet crisis of confidence where men feel they must shrink and expand their bodies into impossible shapes just to be considered worthy of attention. The weight of expectations. While some people are told they must be muscular to be considered attractive, others are ruthlessly shamed for simply existing in a body that takes up space. We must talk about the weight of expectations and the toxic culture of fat shaming. Celebrities are especially susceptible to this type of aggressive scrutiny, but the message trickles down to all of us. There are countless examples of tabloids and gossip sites shaming talented, beautiful women for their bodies. Think back to when Christina Aguilera was criticized relentlessly for her pregnancy weight, as if her body's primary job was to be decorative rather than to create life. Think of the incredible Adele, who was ridiculed for years for her feminine curves, and then scrutinized again when she lost weight. Think of Demi Lovato, who has been open about their recovery from an eating disorder, yet was still shamed for gaining weight during their healing process. These examples are heartbreaking, but they show the damaging effects of fat shaming in the media. It is a form of bullying that has been normalized as entertainment. In fact, a study from the year 2019 found that fat shaming can deeply impact society's subconscious thoughts and lead to severe anti-overweight attitudes. This sends an unhealthy, pervasive message that thinness is the only thing that is attractive, and that thinness equals virtue. But here is the truth that I want you to hold in your heart. Body type is just that, a body type. It is a vessel. It is neutral. It does not define your beauty, your character, your capacity for love, or your worth as a human being. Your value is inherent, not a number on a scale. Shades of beautiful. We also need to have an honest conversation about race and representation. Television, shows, and movies have a massive impact on what the collective consciousness thinks is pretty. This influence extends deeply into how we view skin tone. Back in the year 1982, the brilliant writer Alice Walker came up with the word colorism to describe the way that darker-skinned Black people can be judged more harshly than those with lighter skin, even within their own communities. This is a prejudice that favors lighter skin tones, and unfortunately, Hollywood is guilty of promoting colorism to this day. You can see it if you look closely at casting choices. The industry often picks lighter-skinned Black actors and actresses to play the main roles, the romantic leads, and the heroes. Meanwhile, darker-skinned actors often get stuck playing the sidekicks, the villains, or the comedic relief. Or sometimes, they do not get cast at all. This is not just a matter of artistic choice. It is a systemic issue that distorts people's perception of Black beauty. It creates a hierarchy of attractiveness that is based on proximity to whiteness. This has real-world consequences. As licensed psychologist Josephine Almansar noted for WebMD, one of the biggest psychological impacts of colorism is the damage to one's core belief system. It can make some individuals with darker skin believe they are unworthy of love or attention. It can cause profound emotional distress, depression, and hopelessness. When you never see yourself represented as the object of affection or the hero of the story, it is a struggle to believe that you can be those things in your own life. We must recognize this bias so we can begin to dismantle it. Rewiring for beauty. At this point, you might be wondering, how can the media have such a stranglehold on our minds? How can images on a screen actually change what my heart feels is attractive? To answer this, we can take a look at two fascinating psychological concepts: familiarity and the mere exposure effect. These concepts were first examined by social psychologist Robert Zajonc in the 1960s. The premise is incredibly simple but powerful. Basically, when we are exposed to something repeatedly, it becomes more familiar to us, and we start to like it more. Our brains are wired to prefer things that we have seen before because they feel safe and predictable. So, apply this to the media you consume. When you see retouched images, Eurocentric features, and specific ideal body types over and over and over again in your Instagram feed, on Netflix, on billboards, in magazines, it starts to physically shape your idea of what is attractive. Your brain creates a shortcut. It says, I have seen this face 1,000 times, therefore, this is what a good face looks like. It is a conditioning process, almost like training a muscle. The media is effectively training you to ignore the beauty of diversity and to crave the monotony of the ideal, taking back control. But here is the good news, and it is the part of the video I am most excited to share with you. You are not a passive victim of your programming. You have the power to take control of your own perception of beauty. You can rewire your brain. Since we know the mere exposure effect works, we can hack it to work in our favor. We can choose what we expose ourselves to. Start by auditing your digital environment. Open your social media apps and look at who you are following. If an account makes you feel less than, if it promotes unrealistic standards, or if it makes you feel like you need to buy something to be worthy, unfollow them. Be ruthless. Protect your peace. Then, start to curate a new feed. Follow people who celebrate authenticity. Follow creators who look like you. Follow people with different body types, different skin tones, different abilities, and different facial features. Follow artists who paint realistic portraits. Follow activists who speak about body neutrality. By seeing more realistic and diverse representations of beauty every single day, your brain will start to recognize and appreciate those qualities as attractive. You will start to see the beauty in a smile line, the elegance of a curve, the richness of darker skin, and the strength of a natural body. The mere exposure effect will kick in, but this time it will be expanding your definition of beauty rather than shrinking it. That way, hopefully, you will start to see that natural beauty in yourself and others. You will look in the mirror and recognize the masterpiece that has been there all along, waiting for you to wipe away the fog of media distortion. Conclusion: are there some other ways the media twists our perception of attractiveness that we missed? How do you think we can challenge those norms in our daily conversations? Let us know in the comments below. We love hearing your stories and your strategies for self-love. We hope you do not let the media's distorted view of attraction dictate your self-worth. It is a difficult journey, and it takes daily practice to unlearn these biases, but it is the most rewarding work you will ever do. Instead of chasing a mirage, embrace your unique features. Celebrate the things that make you different. Realize that your type can be kind, your type can be real, and your type can be human. Celebrate your own beauty, and celebrate the beauty in the diversity around you. And remember, above all else, you matter. You are enough, just as you are, with no filter needed. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep your aura bright.